Hey, Liz. Okay, please don't mind my shit. Getting ready to get my wig fixed. But God highlighted something to me, and I know I need to share it with y'all. So please listen up, okay? The reason why God is not showing up in your life the way that you want him to is because you're trying to be the God of your own life. You are trying to be the Lord of your own life, okay? Let me explain. You are asking God for things. And now, first of all, we have to understand that just because you ask for something doesn't mean it's in God's will for you to have. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say you're saying, God, I want some money, but you not good with money. God's not about to be like, yeah, let me just give you something that you're gonna waste. Okay, so that's first of all. But the problem that we are having is, let's say you ask God to bless you with something. Okay, now what we tend to do is we ask God and we expect God to show up with our hand already in it. Like, let's just say, God, I need some healing. Then you go schedule a doctor's appointment. What was the point of you asking God for that? What was the point if you was just going to do it on your own? So now God's like, okay, well, you just go ahead. Because instead of letting Jesus take the wheel, you take the wheel. So you're like, okay, well, go ahead and steer yourself. And then you cry when it doesn't show up because you wanted God to come through in a way that made sense to you. Let's just say that you need a financial miracle. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm short-winded. Let's just say you need a financial miracle, okay? So you go into the bank because you assume or you think that God is telling you to go into the bank and get a loan, and then they deny you for a loan. You start to think that God denied you for that miracle because you took matters into your own hands, and because God didn't show up in the way that you wanted him to show up. You wanted him to assist what you was doing instead of letting him do his own thing. So when you got declined for the loan or whatever, and I'm not saying that's your case specifically, but maybe it is. But when you get denied for the loan, you say, well, you know what? Maybe God's not going to give this to me. So you've talked yourself out of a blessing because God didn't show up how you wanted him to. We are too quick to place God inside of our finite thinking. And when God does not show up in that finite thinking because he is an infinite God, you start to doubt. Excuse me. You start to doubt. You start to say, well, God is not opening this door for me. And God never said that. He just said, I'm not doing it that way. I'm not doing it in the way that you started. Because he never placed his hands on that to begin with. And this is why we don't have our blessings or our miracles, because when they don't show up in the way that we start to do, like we're telling God, okay, this is how I want to be blessed. And this is how I want you to bless me. I want to be blessed. And this is what I need you to do. And that's not going to move the hand of God. He's going to let what you are doing fail because he's not asking you to open up a door for a miracle for him. You are the one asking him. So when you ask him, you let him do it on his terms. And that's the problem. When it doesn't show up in the ways that we try to grasp the things, we start to say, oh, we get depressed. And now all of a sudden it's, oh, God's not going to do it for me. He never said that. He's just saying it's not going to happen in the way that you was trying to do because I wasn't even thinking of that. God's not interested in being your Robin. He should always be Batman. I don't know why that just came up, but he's not interested in being your sidekick. He's not interested in being the backup to your failed plans. He is the Lord, and he should be the Lord of everything. That means when you come to him for a blessing with him as your Lord, you let him do that blessing in the way that he chooses to do it. And if he asks you for help, then you show up. You should be the one assisting him when he asks for it. Like, let's just say you say, I need a blessing, and God says, okay, well, I need you to pray at this time every day. Then you do that part. Don't try to take this thing into your hands and get mad because God is not going to go along with your plans. That's not making him the Lord of your life. That's making him an accessory. And this is why a lot of things don't show up and don't happen, because you don't want him to control everything. You just want him to take over the things that you're not feeling like doing. So you take matters into your own hands and you get mad that he doesn't show up after you already done tried to stamp your fingers in his business. Keep him being the Lord of your life. God is a God of the impossible. You start doing things that make sense to you and you want God to go along with it. And he's not interested. He's not. He's declining the offer. And then that tells you, instead of you saying, well, God, let me do it your way, you don't even say, well, maybe God was trying to show me something. You say, oh no, God's not doing it for me. And then it's like, okay, well, since that's what you believe, since that's how you feel, okay, say less. I guess I'm not the Lord of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, approach God. When you approach him, let him move the mountains. Yes, God is going to tell us, and sometimes, to be an active participant. That doesn't mean that you get to dictate how this thing shows up in your life. And because you are trying to dictate it, it's not showing up. Because first you try to pressure him into something that he's not even planning to do. And then you start to either try to guilt trip him, or you just go completely desolate. Oh, it's not happening in my life. Okay, well then it's not happening in your life. You just spoke death over the miracle you wanted, and you don't even realize it. Now you start doubting, and then you like, oh, it's not showing up. Yeah, you kind of told God it wasn't going to show up, so he gonna do something. I'm just saying. Anywho, I pray this bless you. I love you. My brother, God loves you. Peace.